What's more important, the journey or the destination? My answer, the destination. I've always been a strategist in my life, and it served me in a hopefully creative, exciting way. I am also a very spiritual person, so I understand that the journey itself is actually how to make life satisfying. So let me combat this dichotomy in life. Let me try to explain why I have chosen a side. One of my role models, whether or not you like it, is Jordan Peterson. And he makes a very interesting philosophical argument that if you don't set goals in life, if you don't end up choosing a destination, the lack of movement, the lack of trying to change ourselves to get somewhere actually ends up destroying our ability to improve, our ability to enjoy life. So the hypothesis currently is set destinations so that you do have a journey to go on. I think a lot of us get stuck with the jobs that we have in life, we get stuck with the friends that we have, or our way of thinking in life. And the easiest way that I always see getting out of things like this is trying to say to myself, listen, let's go and achieve this next thing. Let's go and achieve this next goal. And along the way, I can't wait to learn and fail and succeed and the whole gamut of what we're looking for when it comes to a journey, right? What is it? What is a proper journey? What does it entail? Well, my philosophy on life tends to be life will throw at us what we determine we can handle. We often look for challenges in mates, we often look for challenges in life, in our careers, in people that we spend our time with, in really anything that we're willing to accept a challenge in. The more we accept, the stronger we grow, and oftentimes the more perspective we get. Now, the caveat is that if we are always moving, if we are always looking for the next thing to do, then it's going to be very, very difficult to sit down for a sec and realize that at the end of life, at the end of our days, appreciating the moment is probably one of the more important things to do. How do we appreciate the moment without going on a journey, however? Without movement? How do we appreciate things without contrast in general? I don't think it's possible. And so I determined that the journey itself is significantly more important. The destination itself is significantly more important than the journey in the moment. Because along the way, as a way to soothe our weary souls, we will have to figure out how to enjoy the journey. I think of one of my favorite books of all time is The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. It is a book that talks about a young man and his two friends that end up having a destiny to change the flow of an endless cycle that's going on. Incredible story because it shows how much these characters have to grow and the themes of good and evil in the world. Also, Robert Jordan, I believe from his writing, is a particularly wise person, or at least was, as he ended up passing away before he could finish his book. And it was left to another very, very good, Brandon Sanderson, writer, to finish off, which, a lot of people got upset at. I was like, okay. He's a very wise man. He talks about things like, for a man to think sometimes they need something to work on with their hands. He talks about things like cold and heat are not necessarily things that are going to affect human beings. There are things that we allow to affect us by a lack of awareness. He talked about the evils that we often fail to see in the genders that we determine are more innocent than other ones, or the age groups, or the philosophies that we determine are more innocent. But essentially in this book, these characters go on tremendous journeys to the point where when they start when they started out on this expedition into a world they had never explored, out of a village that they had never left in their life, they had no conception. They had absolutely no conception of the amount of pain and turmoil that they're going to go through in order to grow and to eventually become the thing that they had to change the world. So, how do we say to ourselves, hey, I'm going to go through all this pain, I'm going to go and do all this stuff? Well, it's really difficult. I think for the average person, going out of our way to embrace pain is almost an impossibility. I think about nature, I think about lions, I think about any sort of predator, any sort of key species in an ecosystem. When it gets to the point where it's satisfied, it sits around. When everything is accomplished in life, say you have all the money you want in the world, say you have all of the friends, all of the activities that you could possibly do, how easy is it to be satisfied? How easy is it to be satisfied? How easy is it to sit by and do nothing more? Incredibly easy. And there's a reason. Because the core of it is, I believe, that though life itself has a directive almost, a necessity to continue to move forward and to expand, that the majority of life cannot afford to do this thing, to keep certain consistencies going on. For instance, if the status quo was never met, if most people didn't do certain things, the people that are changing how society works, that are fluctuating the philosophies of the things that most people believe in, they would never see that there is something to change. They would never see that there is a point A and a point B to get to. Thus, though life has the internal locus of control to actually change, to move, to expand, to go beyond what they're capable of doing. You can see this in ants, you can see this in literally every species in the world that has to confront change in its environment. The majority of them will not do that on their own. They are ebbed by leaders, they're ebbed by change makers, essentially people that decide to go on a journey based on a destination of potentially a better life, better circumstances, more food, more friends, whatever it may be. So I encourage you, if you're feeling like life is not a journey, if you're feeling like you're not all that satisfied with how things are going and that you've been in the same realm, the same space for so long, set a goal. Set a goal that's going to inspire you, that's going to force you to change. And I promise you, at the end of it, you'll have a story worth telling, a journey that's well worth your time. And oftentimes, we're going to end up choosing things, goals that we know we are more than capable of handling, that our souls are strong enough to adapt to and to develop into. Journeys. All of life is a journey. All of life is a risk. Very, very important things, I think, to compartmentalize and to bring into our own lives. Because at the end of the day, if we decide to have children, if we decide to pass on our ideas in any capacity to future life forms, do we want the life after us to have a stagnant way of approaching things? Or do we want it to capture the change that we see in nature? The beauty of destruction and recreation, of evolution of ideas? That's up to you. But my answer stands for now. What is more important, the journey or the destination? What is more important is the destination. Set a goal. Set a vision. And you shall have a journey worth talking about. I hope you found this interesting. Smash that thumbs up button, smash that subscribe. I think there's a little bell icon you could hit too if you really want to see my face a lot. And I hope everything's good for you. I hope life is treating you well. I hope you get to see beautiful things as often as possible, and that you're creating circumstances in which that's more likely. If you have a second, If you're looking for more ways to create circumstances, opportunities for yourself, check out this video right here. As always, my friend, actualize your potential. This world needs you. Take care.